On this day in history, we remember the remarkable individuals who shaped our world. Welcome to Who Died Today in History, where we honor their legacies. From artists to leaders, their impact lives on. If you find their stories meaningful, like, subscribe, and hit the bell to stay connected. Harry Belafonte, the iconic American singer, actor, and civil rights activist, died of congestive heart failure on April 25, 2023, at the age of 96. His passing marked the end of a monumental era, one defined not only by artistic innovation, but by the relentless pursuit of social justice. His death was peaceful, surrounded by loved ones in his Manhattan home, and reflective of a life lived with purpose and unyielding moral conviction. Belafonte rose to fame in the 1950s with his Calypso hits like Day-O, the Banana Boat song, becoming the first artist to sell 1 million copies of an album. Yet he never confined himself to entertainment. Deeply committed to civil rights, he became a close confidant of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., a financial backer of the movement, and a vocal opponent of systemic injustice in the U.S. and abroad. His activism extended to anti-apartheid efforts and humanitarian advocacy. The peaceful nature of Belafonte's death contrasted with the turbulence of the causes he championed. Living through segregation, McCarthyism, and the civil rights movement, his life was a testament to resistance through both culture and conscience. His death came at a time of renewed global reckonings around race and equity, reminding society of how much has changed and how much remains the same. The immediate response to his death was an outpouring of tributes from political leaders, artists, and activists. President Joe Biden hailed him as a groundbreaking American who used his talent and fame to help redeem the soul of our nation. His passing prompted media retrospectives, museum exhibits, and memorial concerts, reaffirming his dual legacy as an entertainer and humanitarian. Belafonte's death amplified his legend, not by sensationalizing it, but by revealing the layers of his life's work. His enduring influence is evident in the next generation of artist-activists who blend performance with protest. He is immortalized not only through recordings and film, but through the organizations and movements he supported, such as the Southern Poverty Law Center and the Advancement Project. Belafonte's departure underscores humanity's reverence for those who transform art into advocacy. We remember such figures not simply for their talents, but for their courage to use their platform to uplift others, making memory a vehicle for justice. Ginger Rogers, one of Hollywood's most beloved and enduring stars, died of natural causes on April 25, 1995, at the age of 83. Her passing marked the end of a golden era of film, dance, and glamour. Best known for her iconic dance partnership with Fred Astaire, Rogers embodied the elegance, resilience, and transformation of American entertainment during the tumultuous decades of the Great Depression, World War II, and post-war America. Her death was quiet and dignified, taking place at her home in Rancho Mirage, California. It stood in stark contrast to the high-energy, Technicolor world she helped create on screen. In many ways, the graceful nature of her passing reflected the poise she displayed throughout her career, despite the evolving and often male-dominated industry she helped define. Rogers' ability to thrive in both musicals and dramatic roles showcased a versatility that was rare for actresses of her time. Her career, spanning over 70 films, was a testament to determination and adaptability, qualities that mirrored the struggles and aspirations of American women during the 20th century. The immediate aftermath of her death saw widespread tributes from both the film industry and fans around the world. Obituaries hailed her not only as Fred Astaire's equal, she did everything he did but backwards and in high heels, but also as an accomplished actress in her own right, having won an Academy Award for Kitty Foyle in 1940. Her legacy was celebrated in retrospectives, dance tributes, and film festivals, reaffirming her place in cultural history. Rogers's passing further solidified her legend. She became a symbol not just of cinematic charm, but of enduring strength in the face of a rapidly changing world. Her on-screen grace and off-screen determination inspired generations of performers and audiences alike. Ultimately, Rogers's death invites reflection on how we remember cultural icons, not just for their talent, but for what they represent. Through film preservation, biographies, and continued homages in dance and cinema, Ginger Rogers is immortalized as a figure of both artistry and empowerment. Lisa "Left Eye" Lopes, a dynamic member of the Grammy Award-winning R&B hip-hop group TLC, died tragically in a car accident on April 25, 2002, in La Ceiba, Honduras. She was just 30 years old. Lopes had been filming a documentary about spirituality and personal healing while staying at a healing center in Honduras, a country she frequently visited for reflection. Her untimely death was both accidental and deeply symbolic, reflecting the tumultuous nature of celebrity life at the turn of the millennium and the fragile intersection of fame, mental health, and personal growth. Lopez was driving a rented Mitsubishi Montero SUV when she attempted to avoid an oncoming vehicle and lost control, veering off the road and flipping the car multiple times. Though several passengers survived, Lopes died instantly from severe head trauma. Just days before the crash, she had reportedly felt a haunting sense of mortality. Her documentary footage even captured her speaking about feeling pursued by an unseen force. Her death sent shockwaves through the music world. As one-third of TLC, Lopes had helped shape the voice of a generation with hits like Waterfalls and No Scrubs, songs that addressed issues from self-respect to social justice. Her passing halted plans for the group's next album and highlighted the growing conversation around the mental health struggles of artists, especially young Black women navigating fame and personal identity. Lopez's fiery persona, signature eye patch, and raw lyricism made her a standout. In death, she became a symbol of artistic brilliance gone too soon, joining the ranks of other musicians like Aaliyah and Tupac Shakur, whose premature deaths amplified their mystique and impact. Her funeral was a blend of celebrity tribute and spiritual solemnity, attended by thousands and covered extensively in the media. Lisa Lopes's memory endures through TLC's continued presence, posthumous music releases, and a 2007 VH1 documentary, The Last Days of Left Eye, which eerily chronicled her final journey. Her story illustrates how we process mortality through legacy, how a voice silenced can still echo through generations via art, film, and public remembrance. Lar Park Lincoln, an American actress renowned for her roles in Knots Landing and Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood, passed away on April 25, 2025, at the age of 63. While the exact cause of death was not disclosed, she had battled breast cancer since 2008, undergoing numerous surgeries over the years. Lincoln's death marked the end of a career that spanned over 4 decades, during which she became a familiar face on both television and film. Her portrayal of Linda Fairgate on Knots Landing from 1987 to 1991 showcased her ability to embody complex characters, reflecting the era's appetite for serialized dramas that delved into personal and societal issues. In 1988, she took on the role of Tina Shepard, a telekinetic teenager, in Friday the 13th, Part 7, contributing to the horror genre's exploration of supernatural themes during a time when such narratives resonated with audiences seeking escapism and thrill. Beyond her on-screen accomplishments, Lincoln dedicated herself to mentoring aspiring actors. She founded Actors Audition Studios in Dallas, where she provided guidance and support to those entering the entertainment industry. Her commitment to nurturing new talent underscored a shift in the industry towards more inclusive and supportive environments for emerging artists. The immediate aftermath of her passing saw tributes from former colleagues, students, and fans, highlighting her impact both as a performer and a mentor. While her death did not cause a seismic shift in the entertainment landscape, it served as a poignant reminder of the contributions of character actors who, though not always in leading roles, leave indelible marks on the industry and its audiences. Lincoln's legacy is preserved through her body of work and the success of those she mentored. Her life and career exemplify the enduring influence of artists who, through dedication and passion, shape the cultural narratives of their time. In remembering figures like Lincoln, we acknowledge the profound connections between mortality, the pursuit of creative expression, and the ways in which we commemorate those who have enriched our cultural heritage. B. Arthur, a towering figure in American television, died of cancer on April 25, 2009, at the age of 86 in Los Angeles. Best known for her roles as the sardonic Maude Findlay in Maude and the witty Dorothy Zbornak in The Golden Girls, Arthur's passing marked the end of an era for sharp, socially conscious comedy led by strong, complex female characters. Arthur's death from natural causes occurred in a cultural moment that was beginning to reckon more seriously with aging, feminism, and LGBTQ+ visibility, causes she championed throughout her life. Her iconic roles in the 1970s and 1980s tackled taboo subjects such as abortion, women's liberation, and elder care with unapologetic candor and humor. In many ways, her passing served as a symbolic reminder of television's evolution from the golden age of issue-driven sitcoms to an increasingly fragmented media landscape. The immediate response to Arthur's death was one of reverence and nostalgic celebration. Tributes poured in from fans and fellow actors alike, highlighting not just her groundbreaking work in television, but also her contributions as a theater actress and LGBTQ+ advocate. Her legendary deadpan delivery and unmistakable voice had made her a beloved figure across generations. Publications such as the New York Times praised her for playing characters who were both commanding and vulnerable. Her death did not dramatically shift history, but it did amplify her legacy, reminding the world of the cultural importance of television as a platform for social commentary. Arthur's portrayals helped normalize discussions of gender equality and social justice in American homes, proving that humor and activism could coexist on prime time. Through reruns, pop culture references, drag tributes, and commemorative retrospectives, B. Arthur has remained an enduring figure. She is memorialized not only through her Emmy-winning performances, but also through her philanthropy, such as her support of the Ali Forney Center for LGBTQ+ homeless youth in New York City. Arthur's death reinforces a timeless truth that cultural icons wield a quiet power to shift minds and challenge norms long after they're gone. In remembering them, we are reminded of our shared struggles, progress, and the art that makes those journeys visible. Dorothy Provine, the vivacious American actress and singer known for her bubbly screen presence in 1950s and 60s films and television, passed away on April 25, 2010, in Bremerton, Washington, at the age of 75. Her death from emphysema, a result of a lifetime of smoking, was natural but also deeply reflective of an era when smoking was glamorized in Hollywood, and its dangers were not yet fully understood or widely acknowledged. Provine rose to fame during a time when the entertainment industry placed a premium on charm, looks, and lighthearted entertainment. She starred in popular productions like The Roaring Twenties and comedic films such as It's a Mad, 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 Mad World. Her roles, often playful and effervescent, mirrored the values of mid-century America, an era that often preferred escapism to political confrontation, especially in entertainment. In this way, the circumstances of her death subtly echoed the cultural contradictions of her time, the bright optimism of post-war America shadowed by the slow realization of the health consequences associated with its lifestyle choices. The immediate response to her passing was muted compared to more prominent stars of her era. She had retired from the public eye decades earlier, choosing privacy and family over continued fame. However, her death sparked renewed interest among classic film enthusiasts and retro television fans, reminding audiences of a once glittering talent who brought joy to millions during a transformative time in American media. Though her passing did not significantly shift historical trajectories, it offered a moment of reflection on the fleeting nature of fame and the generational changes in how Hollywood values health, image, and female stardom. In a time when awareness of health risks tied to smoking has become mainstream, her death stands as a quiet, cautionary echo of an era when the dangers were still wrapped in silver screen glamour. Dorothy Provine is remembered in film archives, fan tributes, and streaming services that preserve her work. Through the timeless preservation of her performances, her legacy endures. Her passing invites us to contemplate how culture both shapes and is shaped by its icons, and how memory, when nourished by film and nostalgia, keeps even the softest stars glowing. Virginia Gibson, an effervescent star of mid-20th century stage and screen, died of natural causes on April 25, 2013, in Newtown, Pennsylvania, at the age of 88. Her passing, though quiet and largely unnoticed in mainstream media, reflected the graceful exit of a performer whose prime was rooted in the golden era of musicals and the wholesome charm of post-war entertainment. Best remembered for her role in the 1954 MGM classic Seven Brides for Seven Brothers, Gibson embodied the energy and optimism of 1950s Hollywood musicals. She later transitioned into television and Broadway, with credits including My Sister Eileen and The Johnny Carson Show, and eventually became a beloved host of ABC's Discovery, an educational program that showcased science and culture to a younger audience. Her death from natural causes speaks to a life lived largely out of the spotlight in her later years, a contrast to the era in which she shone brightest, a time when television was gaining dominance and Broadway still rivaled Hollywood in cultural prestige. The immediate consequences of her passing were subtle. Unlike more sensational or politically charged deaths, hers did not stir headlines or national mourning. However, her death quietly marked the end of a chapter in entertainment history, a final bow for a generation of performers who bridged live performance, early television, and the musical film heyday. For fans of classic cinema and stage, Gibson's death was a reflective moment, a prompt to revisit the joyous legacy of MGM's golden musicals and the talent that brought them to life. Gibson's death did not reshape history, but it contributed to the growing nostalgia and appreciation for a bygone era of entertainment that emphasized ensemble performances, vibrant choreography, and optimistic storytelling. In an age where celebrity often equates to controversy or spectacle, Her career and passing remind us of a time when grace, versatility, and reliability were quietly revered. Today, Virginia Gibson is remembered through film archives, musical retrospectives, and classic television broadcasts. Her legacy endures in dance numbers replayed on TCM and YouTube clips shared among musical theater fans. Her death and her life reveal our deep yearning to preserve joy, artistry, and the spirit of performance, immortalized not through scandal or upheaval, but through song, dance, and enduring charm. John Havlicek, the legendary Boston Celtics player, died on April 25, 2019 at the age of 79 after a prolonged battle with Parkinson's disease. His death marked the end of an era for one of basketball's most revered and enduring figures. A natural death attributed to the complications of Parkinson's, Havlicek's passing was a poignant reminder of the fragility of even the strongest athletes and the inevitable passage of time. Havlicek's career was defined by his relentless work ethic, versatility, and ability to play both offense and defense at an elite level. He was the epitome of the team-oriented ethos that defined the Boston Celtics under legendary coach Red Auerbach, contributing to 8 NBA championships. The immediate consequences of his death were felt deeply across the basketball community. The Celtics organization, the NBA, and basketball fans worldwide mourned his loss, with tributes flooding in from former teammates, rivals, and sports analysts. His passing was a reminder of the high standards set during his era, the values of teamwork, discipline, and unrelenting dedication to the game. While Havlicek's death did not change the trajectory of basketball, it did amplify his legend, particularly for younger generations of fans who may have known him only as a historical figure. His legacy grew not only through his on-court success, but also through the respect he garnered as a model of professionalism and humility. The famous moment of his career, when he stole the ball in the 1965 Eastern Conference Finals, an iconic play forever etched in NBA lore, was revived in the wake of his passing, cementing his place in the collective memory of basketball fans. Havlicek's death, quiet and dignified as it was, revealed much about the way we immortalize figures in sports. It highlighted how athletes, especially those who exemplify the highest ideals of their era, become icons whose legacies transcend the physical limitations of their sport. Through art, literature, and sports history, we celebrate them long after they leave the court. In Havlicek's case, his career will continue to inspire through documentaries, retrospectives, and the ongoing reverence paid to his impact on the Celtics and the game of basketball. Celia Johnson, the distinguished British actress, passed away on April 26, 1982, at the age of 74. Her death was due to natural causes after a prolonged battle with cancer. Johnson was best known for her poignant role in Brief Encounter, where she portrayed a woman trapped in an affair with a married man. Her portrayal of the reserved, heartbroken Laura Jesson resonated with audiences, making it one of the most iconic performances in British cinema. The immediate consequence of Johnson's death was a wave of tributes from the British film industry and fans alike, who mourned the loss of a timeless actress. Her passing was noted as the end of an era in British cinema, signaling the departure of one of the last great stars of the pre- and post-war period. Johnson's death reflected both the personal struggles of her final years and the broader context of the post-war era she had embodied. Brief Encounter became an emblem of post-war British society, a time marked by restraint, emotional repression, and the personal sacrifices of war. Johnson's portrayal of Laura Jesson mirrored the psychological strains of wartime Britain, where personal happiness often had to be suppressed for the greater good of family and country. The era was characterized by a quiet emotional intensity that Johnson excelled in capturing on screen. Her role in Brief Encounter and later works epitomized the British ethos of stoicism and self-discipline. Though her death did not have the immediate political or historical consequences of some public figures, it nonetheless amplified her legacy as a symbol of British cinematic grace and emotional depth. In her career, she had balanced a fine line between portraying ordinary, relatable characters and imbuing them with extraordinary depth. This capacity to evoke the subtle complexities of life ensured that her work remained beloved long after her passing. Her death also marked the fading of the classic cinema era, with the rise of new genres and more modern stars. The ways in which we immortalize figures like Celia Johnson reflect our culture's relationship with art and memory. Through films, written tributes, and retrospectives, we preserve the legacies of artists who gave shape to the ideals of their time. Johnson's legacy lives on through her iconic role in Brief Encounter, and she remains a powerful figure in the history of British cinema, immortalized not only in film, but also in the hearts of her admirers. Anne Bonny, the notorious pirate of the early 18th century, died in 1782 under mysterious circumstances, with much of her life shrouded in myth and speculation. Her death, like much of her life, was natural. She was believed to have lived out her final days in obscurity after her infamous exploits at sea, though the exact details of her death remain uncertain. Bonny's passing occurred many years after her arrest in 1720, when she was captured by the British Navy during a pirate hunting campaign in the Caribbean. After a brief trial, she was sentenced to hang, but her execution was postponed due to her pregnancy. Some reports suggest she may have escaped from prison, while others speculate that she simply faded into the annals of history. Bonny's death reflects the shifting values of the era she lived in. In the early 18th century, piracy was seen as both a crime and a romantic rebellion against established social orders. Pirates like Anne Bonny embodied the gender norms and societal constraints of the time. Bonny was one of the rare women who donned male attire and actively participated in piracy, challenging the traditional roles women were expected to play. Her story is symbolic of the broader challenges faced by women of the time, who often resorted to extreme measures to escape the confines of a patriarchal society. The immediate consequence of Anne Bonny's death was the loss of a legendary figure, whose reputation continued to grow in the centuries following her passing. Though not an influential political or historical figure, Bonny's story captured the imagination of the public, particularly in the realm of piracy, and became a part of the broader pirate mythology that flourished in literature and popular culture. In death, she became an emblem of rebellion, individuality, and the refusal to be confined by the limitations of her gender and society. Bonny's legend amplified after her death. Her story, rich with adventure, defiance, and an elusive escape from justice, has been immortalized in countless works of fiction, from books to films, and she remains one of the most famous female pirates in history. Her tale, like many others, reveals how death does not erase a person's legacy, but often cements it in the collective memory of society. Her life and death raise important questions about how we commemorate such figures, whether through the sensationalism of myth or through the interpretation of history. In Bonny's case, it is the myth that endures, reflecting humanity's fascination with defiant, boundary-pushing figures.